we can get started. Kicking us off is going to be Tara and Natalie from the Career Center.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Tara Ballatiri, and I am the Student Employment Specialist at the Stony Brook University Career Center. I'm joined by my colleague, Natalie. Natalie, if you just want to introduce yourself quickly.
Hi, everyone. My name is Natalie Corba, and I'm the career coach for the Exploring Career community here at Stony Brook.
Great. Thanks, Natalie. So we're going to be giving a brief overview of the Career Center, how you can start to use our services, and then specifically touch on student employment a little bit. So if you're looking to, get a job on campus, where can you look? How does that work? What do you need? So let's just start off first with an overview of what the Career Center does. So our goal is to act as a guide to encourage career development by first educating students about themselves. So, what are your options that are available? Where can you maybe be a good fit in terms of the career world? How does your major maybe relate to a career? So that's kind of step one. Step two, helping to prepare students for experiential learning. So internships, volunteer, research, employment, graduate school. So kind of helping to prepare, making sure that you're a good candidate as you go and explore these opportunities. And then three, connecting you to employers, alumni mentors, and graduate schools. So we do a lot of different career fairs. I'm going to touch on some of them as we go, but we do 5 different career fairs every single semester, so 10 a year. So tons of opportunities for you to connect with employers, as well as various info sessions and such throughout the year. So how do we actually do this? So our main model is a career communities model. So essentially what this does, our office is broken down into career interests for students. So these different communities are healthcare, applied science and research, business, government, law, and public service, IT and engineering, education and helping, exploring, and arts and communications. So essentially what you can do, I'm going to show you on Handshake, you're able to join one of these communities. And then once you can join as many as you want, but we recommend not joining any more than 3, or you're going to get a lot of communication. And if you're not sure which one is right for you, joining Exploring and connecting with Natalie. And once you join these communities, you'll have access to, biweekly newsletters that are sending out important events for your community, job fairs for your community, jobs and internships that might be good fits for you. You'll also have a coach then that you can connect with. So each one of these areas has one or more coaches. So we have a coach that's specific for healthcare. We have multiple coaches that are specific for IT and engineering. So we specialize in different areas. And then connections, right? So finding out, like I said, about some of those networking opportunities. So I encourage you, as soon as you have access to Handshake, this is typically about 1 week after you've registered for your classes, log on and join a career community. I'm going to show you how to do that because that'll kind of be your main mode of finding out what's going on with the Career Center and finding out about experiences for you. Okay. So when I say experiences, I mean a lot of different things, right? So typically students think of jobs and internships, but there are a lot of different opportunities that we can help connect you with. In addition to internships, there's also research. I know Karen's going to talk a little bit more about that, so I won't get too in depth there. On-campus student employment, which we're going to focus on a little bit more, community service, leadership roles, industry projects, which if you're not familiar is essentially the opportunity to work on a project for an employer, right? To kind of get your hands in what it would actually be like to work for that employer in a short-term project. Study abroad, experiential programs, employer site visits, job shadowing, and co-ops. So there's so many different opportunities, but today we're going to focus specifically on-campus student employment because that tends to be one of the first experiences students have when they come to Stony Brook. I also want to add, as I'm talking, please feel free to put anything in the chat or Q&A and Natalie will answer as I go along. Okay, so what do you need to be eligible for on-campus student employment? So one, you have to be a matriculated student. If you're on this call, you're a matriculated student. So essentially that means you're coming to Stony Brook to earn a degree, right? You have to be in good academic standing, which is defined as a 2.0 or higher. You have to be able to provide a social security number and proper identification. So you do need a social security card. If you are an international student, you're able to apply for a social security number once you've received a job offer. So you have to apply to jobs, get an offer first for on-campus employment, and then afterwards you can apply for a social security number. And then you need to actually bring those forms with you physically to campus. So this is really important. Human resources and supervisors are not able to accept photocopies. So you need to actually bring, proof of your citizenship and also picture ID. So this might be a birth certificate, social security card, passport. There's all different options that are available to you, but you do need to make sure you have the actual document with you on campus. I think I pressed another button. Hold on. Okay, so what are the types of on-campus student employment available to you? So essentially there's 4 types. We're gonna brush over graduate assistant because I believe this is undergraduates only. Please correct me if I am wrong, Kat, but I believe it's only undergraduates. So federal work study is something that is given to you as part of your federal financial aid package. So in order to be eligible for federal work study, you must be a domestic student who has submitted their FAFSA and has been granted federal work study. So not all students that are receiving financial aid get work study, but if you do receive work study, you will know it'll be in your solar. It'll have to be something that you accept. Essentially for federal work study, you can work on campus for a department and get paid through the financial aid office. So it's part of your financial aid package. Now, if you're not eligible for federal work study, don't worry, there's plenty of opportunities available to you as a student assistant. So student assistant roles are open to all students, regardless of their financial aid package. And in this role, you can typically work up to 29 hours a week. Unless you are an international student, then it is 20 hours a week. So just keep that in mind. 29 hours per week is the max you can work across all roles. Now, most students won't work that often. I'm going to say most jobs are between 10 to 15 hours, but 29 is the max that you can work on campus. Graduate assistants, this is specific, like I said, just going to brush over it real quick. Graduate assistants is specific for graduate students. This is a special designation of on-campus student employment that is for graduate students only. Typically, this also comes with benefits. It's paid with some kind of stipend, and you are part of the graduate union. So just keep that in mind. If you see those positions, you'll want to veer away if you're not a graduate student. And research assistants, I'm going to skim over for now, but it is also possible to do research on campus as a paid opportunity. Okay, so how can you actually find all of these great opportunities as well as connect with the Career Center? So our main platform is our Handshake platform. So all students automatically have a Handshake account. This is not something that you need to request. You can sign onto this using your NetID and password approximately 1 week after you've registered for classes, okay? So a few things I want to point out here. First, jobs, right? How can you actually start to search for jobs? So this will be all the jobs available to you, not just on-campus student employment, but I'm going to show you how to filter out for on-campus student employment. And I'm terribly sorry. My computer is going a bit slow today. Bear with me, we'll get there. Okay, so once you get to jobs, if you very simply just click this on-campus button, you will be able to see all of the paid opportunities available to you on campus. If you are a work study student, you can also filter through. If you click all filters, you can do work study and see the work study specific opportunities available. If you don't have work study, don't worry about accidentally applying to one of these. Only students with funding can see these positions. So you won't even be able to see the work study jobs. So don't stress about that. So very simple. You can go through, kind of get an overview of what's available. It'll usually be, a date. It could also include how much it'll be paid, a brief description, and then you can apply here. Most jobs at the minimum are going to require a resume. You might also require a cover letter depending on the role. If those things scare you, I highly recommend that you make an appointment with our office. So if you navigate to Career Center and then appointments, schedule a new appointment, you can see everything that we have available. Resume reviews and mock interviews. So resume review is to review a resume. We also have cover letter reviews on here. Mock interviews, this is to do a practice interview with us. If you just want to run through what would an interview feel like? How are my answers? How can I improve, right? Career community coaching. These are to get to the specific coaches. If you want to go to, let's say, applied science and research, business, IT and engineering, you can find them all here. CPT or OPT, this is if you're an international student and you want to know more about work authorization. And then internships and campus student employment. This is if you're looking to work on campus. You can click here to see my available appointments. It's very easy to schedule. You just click on what you're looking for. And then you'll see that if there's a day that's available, it is dark blue. And you can go ahead and schedule the appointment through here, in person or virtually. One final thing I would really like to show you guys is our events. So you can register for any of the events that we have going on right on Handshake. We have a couple of different ways that you can search here. You can go through and kind of see what's happening when. You can see what's virtual. Most of our events are virtual right now. And then you can also click in and see all of our fairs. So if you click Career Fair, you can go on in and see what we have coming up for the spring semester. I want to point out our virtual on-campus job and internship fair. This is great if you're looking for on-campus student employment. This is going to be the first Wednesday of classes from 12 to 2. It is virtual on Zoom. And you can just click here and register right on Handshake. The day prior to the event, you will receive a sheet that's going to have all of the departments there with links to connect with them. But you do have to register in order to get that link. So do make sure you register. For our open employer industry specific fairs, you are able to register on 1/20. That is because as soon as you register, you're going to be able to pick what employers you want to meet with when. So you want to register as close as possible to 1/20 because you'll then get to make a schedule for yourself of who you would like to talk to. Okay, so just keep this in mind. Just a few ways to connect with us. So jobs, events, and our services and our appointments. Okay, so Handshake's going to be your best friend, and it's just stonybrook.joinhandshake.com. Going back to my slides. I just talked about this, not much more to say about this. But again, Wednesday, January 26th, 12 to 2, make sure you go onto Handshake and register. If you don't have access to Handshake yet, don't worry. You can register as late as January 25th. I'd prefer you didn't because then I get stressed, but you can register as late as, until the day before. But you do want to register so you get those links, okay? Have another slide, but it's not advancing. Hold on. Oh no, now I'm frozen. Okay, well, my next slide was just going to be all of the job fairs. Oh gosh, hold on. Sorry. Let's go back. I was frozen and then it got crazy. Hold on. Nope. Okay, so if you are considering going to one of our outside employer job fairs this semester, I would highly recommend taking a screenshot of this page. I know most of you are probably freshmen, maybe some transfer students. It's really important that you start looking for opportunities right away. So we really encourage, even if you're a freshman, you want to be looking for internships for the summer. You want to be looking for opportunities. And it's important that you start to do it right away because it's going to make the rest of your years here so much easier the earlier you start. Even if you just want to come check it out, I like to tell students the best time to come and network is when it's low pressure for you, right? So if you would like a job this summer, like an internship this summer, great. what a great time to just come and practice talking. So that way, when you are a junior or you are a senior, you've gotten some practice in, right? Finally, these are some of the employers that we work with. These are our partnership council employers. These are the employers that are really dedicated to hiring Stony Brook University students. So just keep in mind, these are some of the employers you can expect to see at a lot of our events. A lot of our recruitment opportunities will feature these awesome employers for you. And then to get started, visit our website. We have a lot more resources on there for you about getting started with us. Join a career community and handshake, which I actually didn't show you. I'm just going to show you real quick, and that's going to be the last thing. So if you click on your name, you go to My Career Interests. You can go ahead and scroll down to career communities. You'll see I'm in all of them. Don't do that. Pick 1 to 3, right? I'm just in all of them, so I know what's going on. But 1 to 3, so you start to get communication from us. If you have any questions at any time, please feel free to reach out to us. I know we'll be doing Q&A at the end, so I'll save it for then. But feel free to connect with us at any time. All of the links I shared today will also be in this presentation that will be shared with you. Okay, so I'll stop sharing then.
Awesome. Thank you, Tara.
Of course.
Yeah, so this presentation is being recorded, so you will have, you'll all have access to it on our website to view later, as much as you need. Again, if you have questions, we definitely encourage you all to use the Q&A function anytime. We have everyone here to answer all your questions, so feel free, don't be shy. We're here. Okay, up next, I'm going to hand it over to Amanda from the International Academic Programs. Oh, Amanda, you're still muted. Sorry.
I just undid the video. So I'm so glad we're all together. Super excited because we actually have programs that are running for this spring. I have a student that left last week, and I have a student that's leaving the week after. We have students leaving in February and in March. So this is our first time back since 2020. So we're all super excited. So study abroad, we're located in the Millville Library. It's on the main floor, the lobby, E1340. And we host events about 4 times a year. We have fairs. We're actually having one February 9th. It's a Wednesday. We send an email blast, so you don't need to even think about it right now because you'll get inundated with emails from us. But we have study abroad programs that run summer. We have them that run the fall, the winter, and the spring. So really all sessions that Stony Brook is in session, study abroad is too. We offer a lot of programs, and our website is super great, but I know even students who you guys have grown up with websites, everyone gets overwhelmed when looking at it because there's just so many choices. Certainly come into the office if you are struggling because there's just too many, you're not sure where to even start, because how I kind of narrow this down for a lot of students is the best place to start is first just think of, do you want to go for 4 months or do you want to go for 4 weeks? Because that's kind of a big difference, and maybe that helps narrow down at least some of the selection. And then I would say, think of locations. Don't think of language right now. If you're selecting maybe a country that English is not their language, Germany, France, because there could be alternatives around that. It could be a summer and winter programs typically don't require you to speak the language. So even though their language is not English, they do have English classes for their summer and winter programs. So I wouldn't even let the language barrier come up quite yet. But I would say the best thing to do is think of where you have an interest, what culture are you interested in? Do you have, we do have a lot of students. Our Italy program to Florence University of the Arts is one of our largest programs. We do suspect And that is because we do have a lot of Italian heritage here in New York. And so it would make sense that that would be one of the bigger programs that are offered. Ireland is another one that is one of our big programs that runs in the summer and the winter. We do have faculty-led programs. Stony Brook professors actually go with students on the summer and winter programs. They teach a variety of courses depending on who the professor is. Some of them will be marine biology. Some of them would be we actually have a sustainability. We have about 4 programs with sustainability courses. So those programs are really special because our faculty travel with the students, and it's typically a group anywhere between 10 to 25 students, and they all travel together. And it's sort of a shared experience. And it's nice for the student who maybe really wants to do a study abroad, but isn't quite comfortable doing a semester on their own, or even a summer or winter to a partner university. A faculty-led program is a great sort of in between, because you're still obviously going abroad and you're doing all these things and you are very independent, but you have the sort of comfort of having your peers as well as a faculty from Stony Brook. So those programs are super special to us, and obviously special because our faculty run them, and we are so appreciative of the fact that they do this, and their desire to really expose students to study abroad certainly helps our cause. Students, I know right now are going to have lots of questions regarding COVID. And we will answer the best we can as things come up. Things are forever changing, as everyone knows. There's what is something today, tomorrow could be something different. What I would stress is that I don't know if it's good news, but New York has been a level 4 for most of the time. So we've all survived it in our own way. So the locations such as England or Ireland, they're pretty equivalent to what we've already been dealing with. So if doing a study abroad, like the students who are, the 2 students actually that are leaving, one left and the one's leaving next week, they are going to Spain. They will follow the procedure there, which is probably wearing the mask indoors, and they would be testing, and if they do come up positive, they'll do the quarantine. So it's really the same protocols that we've been dealing with. So I would just throw that out there. It's just in New York in particular, we've certainly had our hot moments where we were the epicenter. So I feel the students should definitely think of that, and don't let that scare you too much, because you would just continue to live the way you are currently living now. And we're going to get feedback. The students are going to keep in touch. They're going to send us their weekly blogs, because we're super curious to see how everything is going with them. And as soon as we hear, we could certainly share that information with any student that does ask. And when they do come back, students mostly for the spring would be back around April and May. We certainly can bring them to any of our fairs or events. So this way students can speak to them and see how it went, because I find that peers speaking to peers, usually it's helpful because they just experienced it, whereas most of the staff, we've done study abroad, but it's been some years now. So I would say if anyone is interested, certainly, yes, ask questions and we'll answer at this event, or come into the office, send us an email. Again, these are challenging times, but certainly I feel as months go by, and certainly vaccines and boosters have been super wonderful and helpful, I think we're going to start leveling off, and I think that we will be able to get back the students who were once so interested, because we did lose we had students that had to graduate. I mean, I'm super happy that they did, but they did miss the opportunity because we've been on pause since 2020. So we do have some programs, and we're looking to possibly post this where we can have graduate students go on some of the faculty-led programs and take a graduate level course. We're hoping that would help some of the students who weren't able to do it during this time. But at the undergraduate level, you guys have really your entire undergraduate time that you're here to do any study abroad program. And again, we can work with you, whatever your major is. We might have programs that work directly with your major, but if not, you can get SBCs, upper division credits. Again, we do offer programs in the summer and the winter if a semester doesn't work out for you. So we're definitely flexible, and our deadlines and our partner universities are all extremely flexible, because I think everyone's just really excited to welcome students back. And if we have to extend some deadlines and whatever we need to do to help the student along, that is totally fine. So yeah, anyone have questions, certainly ask. And again, we are here Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. We can do Zoom, whatever is convenient for you. And we're super excited that everyone's going to be back for the spring.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Amanda. There was one Q&A. I don't know if you want to answer live. Someone wants to know, are there scholarships for studying abroad?
Yes, on our website, we do have, it's Financing Study Abroad is the title, but we do have, there's our scholarship, it's called the IAP scholarship, which is our office. And that is pretty much open to any Stony Brook student going on any Stony Brook program. So it's a nice one, because there's not some of the other scholarships that are not by us that might be national, have some certain guidelines. I know the Gilman Scholarship, very particular, only students receiving Pell would be able to apply. So ours is pretty much open to everyone. There is a SUNY Diversity Scholarship. It's on our website and it is opened. We have not received guidance whether that will be available, just because SUNY as a whole hasn't run study abroad in a while. So I don't know if those funds are available, but as soon as we get, I mean, we want it open because we do want students to apply, period. And it doesn't cost any money. Oh, speaking of that, our applications are free, by the way. They used to be $60, but that is long gone right now. So right now there's our applications for the upcoming summer and fall are there's no $60 charge, but yes, there is a scholarship section, and we do have instructions in that who would fit the criteria, and whatever ones you meet, certainly apply.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Folks watching at home, feel free to put any more questions in the chat. We're happy to answer them. And I think next I'm going to turn things over to Karen from Undergraduate Research and Creative Activities.
Great, thanks so much. So I'm Karen Kernan. I'm the director of the Eureka program, and Eureka stands for Undergraduate Research and Creative Activities. And it's, again, like everybody else has been talking about, one of the really wonderful opportunities for you to take advantage of while you're at Stony Brook, in addition to the Career Center opportunities and study abroad. Ours is an academic program, and really our goal is to try to help you connect with faculty mentors and with research experiences in academic departments throughout the university. And we do work with students in all majors, from marine sciences to the business school, from STEM fields like biology, chemistry, physics, engineering disciplines, but also we work with students who are history majors or English majors or philosophy majors. So we're really here for all of you. Now, let's see, I'm having trouble advancing my screen. Let's see. Oh, okay. So one of the the things I want to emphasize at Stony Brook is that there's a lot of flexibility. So there are some students who do research for credit. There are some students who are volunteers. Some students are able to be paid during the academic year. But where we emphasize, where we put a lot of emphasis in terms of the Eureka program is really on the summer experience, because we offer various programs that are usually 10 weeks long, offer students the opportunity to do research and get paid. Most of the programs have stipends of $4,500 to $5,000, and they're open really to students in any year to apply. So new students coming in to Stony Brook can apply. Our deadlines are typically in mid-March for the summer, and we have freshmen applying, as well as sophomores and juniors and non-graduating seniors applying for these research opportunities. We also have a lot of events that feature student research. We're looking forward to being hopefully back in person this year, depending on how things go, but we've been having virtual research symposia in the summers and in the spring. And these are chances for the students who are involved in research to get some practice in communicating science, in presenting, and it's a great way, it's a great thing to put on your resume to build your skills. And on our website, probably our best advocates for doing research come from the students themselves. So I could have put lots and lots more quotes up here, but if you check our website, we feature researchers of the month. So you can go up and look and see what, maybe you're interested in medicine or psychology or environmental work, and you can see what other students in that field have done and what they enjoy about doing research. A lot of the students will tell you that through research, they've been able to develop problem-solving skills, they've become more independent, and they've really advanced in their major so that by the time they graduate, whether they're going to medical school or to graduate school or straight into industry, they've gained some hands-on experiences that have really made their Stony Brook experience really worthwhile. So that's about all I have as far as the PowerPoint, but most of the information about the Eureka program is available on our website. I think we're going to put that in the chat for you, and we're happy also to answer any questions about opportunities through Eureka. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Karen. Now I think I'd like to ask our student leaders on the call, Mal and Katie, if you all have any personal experience with either the Career Center or study abroad or undergraduate research, if you all could share, or all of the above, if you could share any experience that you have from a student perspective.
Yeah, of course. So I actually have experience with the Career Center. So I currently have 2 on-campus jobs. That was like one of my main goals when I first came to Stony Brook, is like, I want a job. And I was able to find my jobs through the what's it called? The career fairs that they would have in the beginning of each semester. And also through getting my jobs there, and also meeting with the Career Center consistently throughout my time here. I've been also able to make preparations for graduation. So I'm also like proud to say I'm a part of one of the programs that the Career Center has, which is called DPLN, which is a Diversity Professional Leadership Network, where I've been paired with a mentor in the Stony Brook University Hospital, actually. And it's been great to meet with them and be able to network and expose myself. So this way I can have like job opportunities lined up for when I graduate.
I also mostly have experience with the Career Center, mainly because I'm a history major and there's not much research for me to do right now. And then also because I've been here since COVID started, meaning that trying to travel abroad has not been a reality for me. But the Career Center, like Mal said, has been really helpful. It also helped me get my job on campus because that's where I originally saw the orientation leader position that I now the PAL position that I currently hold. I also I was just on Handshake actually looking at internship opportunities for this summer. So it's definitely something you should take advantage of. Handshake is a super useful website for you to use. As they mentioned earlier, you can use it to look at on-campus opportunities as well as off-campus opportunities. Like I just found 2 really cool internship opportunities at museums in New York City that I'm thinking of applying to. So definitely get on Handshake when you can, because it's a great resource to have.
Awesome. Thanks, Katie. I think that actually just reminded me of a good question for Karen. I know a lot of students of different majors kind of take on research that you wouldn't expect. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, about the different kinds of majors you see in your program?
Sure. Well, like I said, we have students doing research in all kinds of fields, from working with earthworms and studying the effects of Roundup to this summer we had a student working on, it was a history project, and she was studying the eastern Long Island and how the Native Americans lost their rights to the land, and looking at certain pivotal court cases and going to historical sites and looking up records. So that was an interesting history project. We've had students do work in philosophy, in English. One year we had a student do a project on Dante. We've had students do original film projects. We've had art history projects. So it's not always what you think of as being a laboratory wearing a white coat, although many students are pre-med and are in the sciences, and there's just so many, there are hundreds of labs that are open to Stony Brook students. So, I mean, you can go into any area, and sometimes students also get involved in fields that are outside their discipline or are double majors. So we've had pre-med students who get involved with projects in political science or in even dance or something else that seems far afield from their research. We've had students work on elections, studying the results of presidential elections. We've had a lot of various psychology projects. So, I mean, it's just, there's a whole big gamut of possibility.
Awesome, thank you. I think another good question is for each of our reps, when would you say is the best time for students to get involved and start applying for things within your offices?
Okay, I'll go first. So for study abroad, I mean, the earlier an academic career, sometimes the better, just because often a student is very flexible with their schedule because they often need many gen eds, the SBCs. So that does help sometimes, but we've had students go also their senior year, their last semester. Good scenarios with that is if a student just needs credit. I mean, that's like a beautiful way to do a study abroad at the end. Your last semester, you just need credits. The specific courses weren't such a big deal. And as long as they pass that, that's really how they earn their degree. So there's many ways to go, but I mean, just generally speaking, the earlier the better, just because the more flexibility with your courses, the better it is, because you can often take those similar courses at partner universities or on the faculty led.
I was going to answer for the Eureka program. It kind of depends on the major a little bit. For most of the STEM fields, I would say as soon as you can get involved, probably the better it is. Some of our best undergraduates, once they start in a laboratory, they end up staying in that same research group throughout the rest of their career at Stony Brook. And that can be helpful because it takes a while to build those skills in the laboratory. But for certain majors, for example, if you were an English major or a history major, sometimes those students wait until their senior year because a lot of times the research for humanities or social sciences is tied to doing a senior capstone research project. But it really depends. And we've also had another plug for study abroad. We've had students who go to Madagascar or to the Turkana Basin Institute program in Kenya, and they have amazing classroom experiences that are also somewhat research related. So sometimes that actually leads to doing other research in the field. Sometimes we've had anthropology students continue to work after a study abroad program on a project for a while with a mentor. So it varies, but I'd say in general, for all of these programs, even if you're not going to get involved right away, the earlier you find out about it and you make plans, the better. So for example, if you were looking up Eureka opportunities and you had an idea what your major is, it's a good idea to start thinking about which possible laboratories you might want to approach just to gather the information.
So for the Career Center, we like to say it's never too early or too late to get involved with our office, meaning that the earlier you get involved with us, definitely the better. But then on the flip side, we have students that don't come see us till their senior year. And sometimes they're too scared to come because they haven't been there yet, right? So, the earlier you get involved, the better. So that way we can start to set you up with on-campus jobs, summer internships. We have various experiential programs that aren't jobs or internships that people aren't always thinking about. So we do have, the DPLN program that Mal mentioned. We have our Future Ready Student Program, which is to get first generation women into the STEM fields. We have our Peace Corps Prep Program, which is a certificate program if you're interested in global service. We have so many other things you can explore that we really recommend you come see us as soon as you are able to, at least once a semester, so that way we can start to map out a plan for you and your career journey.
Awesome, thank you all. For those attending, if you have any questions, feel free to put them now in the Q&A. Again, don't be shy, everyone's here to help you. If not, I'll just ask one last question to kind of wrap everything up. If each of our department reps, if you could each share one piece of advice from your office to our incoming students.
I would say be persistent. Don't give up. If you're looking for research opportunities and you ask one professor and it doesn't work out, continue to look for other opportunities. And I would say that's applicable to the other programs as well. You'd have to just take time to really see what's available here and explore those opportunities. Just don't give up at the first time you don't get an answer to an email.
Yes, I like that. That is, it is really true. And we probably all get this, students come in, that's what we're here for. And that's what we want to speak to students but sometimes we don't know all the answers, or we're not in your specific position. So yes, the more people you ask, I will tell a student to ask their academic advisor, talk with their family. I mean, again, I do often get a lot of students, they haven't narrowed down any particular country, they don't know. So I will say, ask your family. Maybe there's a cousin that did a study abroad and has a suggestion. I just feel the more people involved and the more input for the student, the better, because yes, we don't want to direct the student just to one location, because the information they may be telling me, sometimes they forget certain things. So, but yes, I would say be persistent and ask around to lots of different people. And that, I think that's great advice.
I guess mine would probably be to advise students that are coming in to not count themselves out of opportunities. So I can't even tell you how many times I meet with students and they want to apply to something because they think it's too competitive, or they want to apply because, there'll be a list of 10 skills, they only have 9 of them, or they want to apply because they're half a year short on the amount of experience they're looking for. So give yourself a chance, right? Like, let them tell you no, that you're never going to get an opportunity if you don't even apply. So I think that tends to be the biggest thing I see with students, like being too nervous to apply to things because they don't think that they're good enough or qualified enough. But a lot of times they are, right? And they do get accepted. So just, being brave. And even if you feel like maybe you're a little underqualified, I think everyone feels that way sometimes. So just apply anyway, see what happens. That'd be my piece of advice.
Awesome, thank you. If there are no more questions, I just wanted to say thank you so much to you all for being here, and to our panelists for representing your department and giving all this great information. Again, this recording will be available online, so you'll be able to go back and watch it and go through those slides or anything else that you might have missed. So don't be worried if you didn't take enough notes. And that is all. We will see you all when you're on campus. Thank you. Thank you everyone so much.